So as humans, we have a nervous system that has been evolved in order to alert us and respond to life threats. We have a nervous system that has been designed to ensure that if we're faced with any kind of real and present danger, that our body just starts moving straight away. We feel things like agitation and all those sorts of things in order to start moving straight away. And the nervous system is responding there in service of the protection of our lives. Now, the thing is, human beings are initially a prey animal. You could argue that we still are. It's just that we've developed these ways of kind of imposing ourselves upon nature. But we are nonetheless a prey animal, and we evolved in that way. And this is why, of course, if you go through the safari park and you enter the lion enclosure, there's notices everywhere instructing you that under no circumstances should you get out of the car. So when we're out there just, on the open fields or wherever we evolved and were surrounded by all sorts of other creatures, we were a prey animal. And so we faced all kinds of real, genuine danger to our lives in the moment. The saber-toothed tiger could appear at any moment. And if it did, our nervous system evolved to get moving really quickly, even before it goes through your thinking brain. And so that is what our nervous systems were designed for. And they're really great at that. This is why, for instance, when you open the door and your friend is playing a prank on you and standing behind the door and shouts boo, you're already up in the air before you realise actually you're safe and it's just your friend playing a prank on you. You're already 3 foot in the air and screaming at the top of your voice because your nervous system has already responded. And it's designed really efficiently because it gets you responding, it gets the body doing things in service of the protection of our continued survival before we've even thought about it. It's super fast, super efficient at keeping us safe and protected. Now, the thing is that the situation that we live in now, compared to how we lived back then when this system was evolutionarily being designed, it's very different. And so our nervous systems keep on making prediction errors whenever things go wrong in life. It will ensure that we get very, very agitated about things which are not a real and present danger. It was designed to help us escape the saber-toothed tiger, and yet that very same system activates even when there isn't one present. And it does it for things which are perhaps unpleasant. Maybe a bill comes through the door and you open the bill and you realise that, that was unexpected. And so you might feel stressed in that moment. That is your nervous system responding to something that it wasn't actually designed to respond for. It's seeing that as a saber-toothed tiger, even when it isn't. Now, the reason that I'm mentioning all of that is because it's helpful to understand that when your body goes through these system changes as they do, it's helpful to understand that the kind of events that it's responding to are not the kind of events that it was designed to be helpful with. When that brown envelope comes through the door, there's literally nothing that your nervous system can do about that. If it was a tiger that had came through the door, then your nervous system is perfectly designed for that situation, and it would either run or fight off the tiger or go into a shutdown state. And all of those things might help you with the tiger. But when the nervous system responds to things that are not a tiger or its equivalent, well, it's not designed for that. So a whole system has been energized and moved into operation that isn't actually going to help you do anything about the brown envelope. So it's useful to know this, because when your nervous system gets into gear in that way, it's a good question to ask whether there is a clear and present danger, not whether there's a future danger. You know, a person might lose their job, for instance, and feel very agitated, notice their nervous system kicking into effect as if it's a tiger. But the nervous system isn't responding to a threat to your life in this moment. So it's not actually designed to help you deal with this situation as bad as it is. So it's helpful to check in with the reality of the situation. Is what my nervous system is doing now, is that designed to help me with this particular problem? Because if it's not a tiger or its equivalent, the answer is no. And so in that sense, your nervous system isn't necessarily serving you. So once you've actually established that the nervous system isn't designed for the albeit unpleasant situation you're in at the moment, because it's not a clear and present danger to your life in the here and now, you know, like a tiger. Once you've established that, then it opens up the understanding that this is your body's prediction error. And once you realise it's your body's prediction error, you can get to the point where you start to understand that actually all of this agitation that's coming up wasn't designed for this situation, and so possibly is not the best response to it. So once you've established that you're not in a life and death situation in the here and now, in this very, 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 very moment, you can ask another question instead. And the other question is this useful? This state that I've moved into at the moment, is it useful? Is it helpful to me? Does it bring a message? Because it sometimes does. Sometimes that anxiety will bring a message. But the question then is, have I received the message? You see, this reminds me of the difference between acute pain and chronic pain. So for instance, if I put my hand on a hot stove, I will get acute pain in that moment. My hand is on a hot stove, and so it's really useful. It's sending me a message. I'll get your hand off the stove really fast. So I move my hand away. It brings with it a message and an instruction. It's like a friend, even though it really hurts. Chronic pain is the kind of pain that's outlived its shelf life. Whatever message it may have brought, it's no longer really bringing a message anymore. It's just hurting me. And so these kind of feelings that come up from the nervous system that were designed to help you escape tigers, when that comes up, we can ask a similar question to that acute or chronic pain. Does this actually bring a message? Does this bring a message and an instruction? What is that message and instruction? Because once we've received it, staying in this state, when we've already received the message, we've already got the instruction, and we're not in a life and death situation in this very, 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 very exact moment, then the nervous system response is no longer serving us. It is responding to a situation it was not designed to respond to and can't actually help you with. And furthermore, any useful message that it had, any useful instruction that it had, has already been delivered. And so that's your permission then to move to a place of calm. Now, if you're wondering how you then go about bringing yourself back to calm, well, there's a number of techniques, but one of which I actually talk about in episode 57 of this podcast, which is called "This Simple Body Hack Will Lower Your Anxiety Fast." So you can go and listen to that for a way in which you can bring yourself really quite quickly back into a place of calm, simply using your breathing to lower your heart rate. So thanks for listening. I hope it's been useful. If it has, please pass it on. I also, coming soon, have a course called 9 Ways to Beat Depression. If you want to join the waiting list for that, so you get the information on it before anybody else does, you can go to sliceoftherapy.com/9 ways. If you'd like just to work with me one-to-one directly, then go to liverpoolpsychotherapy.co.uk. You can find out more there. And of course, subscribe to the podcast because it's free and it means you'll never miss an episode again. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.